So I just did something cool. Been running the hard rock, the specialized hard rock. Been running it down to the beach and back. I've been using the little wire basket, and look, it's even got a towel in it still. But it's only getting me about 20 miles, maybe a little bit more with the board on the side. But I want to try to mess around with how much power it's giving the throttle, or how much power it's giving the motor when I'm just doing pedal assist. So what I've done here is actually been able to program the controller, which is from Grin Technologies. I think it's their Cycle Analyst. But their whole system, they hate me over there. I make their life super complicated. But I've been able to adjust the settings, and yeah, I've updated it now. So I just use this little, let's see, it's a little USB plug, and then it just plugs into a little headphone jack. I broke my first one, I just slammed it in there, and this is actually like a data headphone jack. So yeah, so I learned about that, and you got to give it a little torsion, so it gets a connection. And then I was able to reprogram the controller here. So yeah, you can see I've still got all kinds of sand in here, but the controller is really cool. It fits in the bottom of this battery right here. And so all my cables are pretty neatly run for a homemade e-bike. And yeah, so I got, oh, it's a 3-button controller. I programmed it as a 2, but it's been working. So anyways, yeah, so I put a new setting in on my 3rd level and dropped the power, dropped the speed, and I'm gonna go for a cruise today and just see how it goes. That's the opposite of what I wanted. Motor has so much power, it just gets me up to 23 miles an hour and then just sits. Hopefully you can hear me. So I got on the knowledge of a archives, like a warehouse or maybe an underground basement over at the Orange County Old Superior Court, and it's an old red brick building in downtown Santa Ana, and supposedly there or someplace close to there is a warehouse. There is an area that's all the archives of everything that's been dug up in Orange County since probably about 1920. You know, that's kind of when archaeology, according to the county, started in Orange County as an actual practice or commission practice. And there's an osprey, you can see it. But yeah, so I looked at the county's website this morning trying to get an inkling of what that is, and they didn't talk about the archives in San Diego or in Santa Ana, but they did talk about some public pieces that are on view down here at the Upper Newport Bay. There's a center right here that is near one of the first archaeological digs in Orange County, the Upper Newport Bay here. Used to support a ton of life back in the Spanish and Mexican days. Everything from shark farms to shark tanning. There's also salt flats over here. People were drying out salt, so around here. And then right over to my right is Fletcher Jones Motor Company off MacArthur. And MacArthur is one of the big families in Newport, and this is kind of one of his prime first spots. So yeah, so there's a few old notebooks that have been kind of compiled with some of the things that have been dug up here. But after seeing those stone axes yesterday, I'm curious if anything like that's going to be on display down here. Yeah, there we are. So what was just blowing on that crossing are the Santa Ana winds. That's what we call them nowadays, Santa Ana winds. But one of the stories goes that when the leather jackets, anyways, so when the leather jackets were coming through, they first named the winds the Santana winds, more as devil winds, more than just named after Santa Ana, who is the mother of Mary in Spanish Catholicism. Santa Ana is the mother of Mary. Her husband is Joaquin, again. So around here you get a lot of San Joaquin Marsh, San Joaquin Ranch, and then you have the Santa Ana River up in Huntington and Newport. This is the San Diego Creek that runs down here. But anyway, so yeah, so the leatherbacks, or the leather jackets that came with Portola on that first expedition, they camped somewhere around here, a little bit closer, a little bit farther north than would have been more like a sand dune area. And yeah, and again, the leather jacket is named as Santa Ana, or Santana winds, the devil winds. And then one of the friars there with them traveling, one of the fathers, who I want to say was Sarah, Junipero Serra, I could be wrong. He changed the name to Santa Ana. See, beautiful. Peter and Mary Booth Interpretive Center. There you go. Delhi, the Delhi path named after the New Delhi colony, I guess, in Santa Ana. We're gonna go check that out soon. They just got formally recognized, but they've been on the map since the 20s. Right, not bad. Well, right on. Made it down here. Found an ornamental stone that has like a round cut to it, and like a hole that I thought maybe was used for like fishing nets or possibly shamanic purposes. And then the pestil, which is pretty standard, and then some cool abalone hooks actually, which are really cool. You can tell how just if they were able to make a form with it, like look great on a net. And yeah, it just kind of goes more into like the fishing culture here on the bay, and which is, of course, makes sense. Got a good map of some of the local villages, and yeah, no stones that are what I was looking for, really. But yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna kind of say that the older stones are like 10,000 years old, but meaning like the round ones that have grooves and whatnot. But the cool thing about the pestle mortars I was thinking about was so yeah, like I was saying about the pestle mortar, which is more fitting that we talk about it on the move. But yeah, the pestles, which was the hammer part, was highly valued. And then in a lot of camps around here, you'll find mortar stones that are just kind of carved into the rock over time. People lived here for so long and so light on the ground that everything was able to stay pretty similar, if that makes sense. So so there were camps that people just used, and then you would just travel with your pestle, and then you could use the local mortar, which was pretty ideal, I think. So these pestle stones I'm tracing, well, these stones that I'm tracing are these axes, these stone axes, that one end of them actually could be used as a pestle. The other is maybe, well, actually both ends could be used as pestles. So getting the time period on these pieces is kind of interesting. You know, I'm not doing any kind of carbon dating. I'm just going off the dates of what people tell me. But hey. But yeah, it's kind of cool to think about how these stones might be, you know, thousands of years old, and if they were valued and cared for and passed on to people, like they could have just stayed in families, you know. And that was like the main tool for survival, like, because a lot of the nutrition around here came from acorns. Lots of oak trees, California oaks, that grow in the canyons, especially around here, and throughout Southern California, a lot in the Santa Monica Mountains, San Diego, anywhere you get a little bit of a canyon and some water and some shade, you're gonna have these beautiful oak trees. And a lot of them are gone now, but they used to be, that would be where the camps were. Oaks are famous for being able to kind of house and take care of, you know, all kinds of different life forms. There's usually a biome that's created around an oak tree. So humans are just a part of that, you know. Humans would travel around, or not humans, people living here would travel around, and they would travel from freshwater spring with nice acorn bounties plentiful from the oak trees, and then they would they would have camps where they would grind their acorns in the mortars and with the pestles that they traveled with. So, you know, and then that was made into pancakes, and it was able to leach out some of the poisons that come with acorns. If you eat them raw, per se, you have to kind of smash them, and I think you have to boil them too, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a main element of life around here and sustenance. So it makes sense that they would be plentiful, right? They would be everywhere. So I was thinking about, you know, it being at that Tustin Museum yesterday is not that crazy. They wouldn't be seen as something that was super valuable, and not, at least not by our eyes, right, as Western eyes, because they would just think, well, there's so many of them. It's all about scarcity. But in truth, they're probably all really old. And those are going to be where we're going to see a lot of the clues of what I would call an earlier civilization.
I've yet to see anybody explain how they were made. Obviously with softer stone, you could get it just by finding a good stone or a stone that was already that size. But I think there's enough of a element of the stone axe thing and enough of a plethora of them around the planet that I think this is something to kind of latch onto. Not bad. And usually by the time I get down to, well, I have a board with me usually, but by the time I get down to Newport, I'm like almost down to half. So this is pretty good, I'd say. Yeah. Cool, huh? The bike side and a walk side. So I think I'm just gonna try to do this right here. Yeah. Perfect. Look at that. Isn't that cool or what? Okay. There's one. Sorry, ice plant. Oh yeah, that one's super loose. Oh, yeah, you got it. Someone got money. Shooting it the wrong way. Okay, so we're gonna go to this little treasure cove. Part of my theory of this nautical culture that lived here is that they used arches as moors. So that's why I kind of gave them the name the Moors at the beginning, but I realized that it's really, it could work. It's such a varied phrase or varied terminology. It seems to be rooted in something beyond what it used to reference. Like when the Moors, traditionally you'll think of Arabic, Spanish, the Muslims that lived in Spain from North Africa. But they're also, you know, the reason why we call moorings moors. We don't see any moors here. These are docks, but the reason why we call them moors, oh, it feels much better. Yeah. Tighten your nuts. But yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? So yeah, but the reason we call moorings moors is from the Moors. And mare and mar and moorland and all those things. It's the mare, M-E-R, which is M-A-R, and M-O-R, which all refer to sea, the sea. So, you know, and that group of people in Coffis is from like a Roman and like Mediterranean outlook. I guess it would, the sea people would be the people that were on the Western Mediterranean, who voyaged out past the Straits of Gibraltar to unknown destinations, but had incredible wealth because of it, and were the jealousy of all Mediterranean people. So, yeah. So yeah, to my right is Balboa. If you go, there's a Balboa Bridge, and if you go up there, then let's see, just here to my right. See Balboa Bridge right through there, and So there you can see the arch rock. That's the famous one around here. Everybody's got some photo with their family mounted up above their fireplace. But yeah, check out the shape of it. It's got that arch. And then if you look at the other rock out past it, that one's got another hole in it as well. So that's another arch facing another direction. So lots of caves around here too. And it all kind of fits together. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, so there's a few caves over there. You can see right there in the bottom right, closest to us. And then we're standing over one actually. And this is the rock on top of it. And it doesn't look like anybody actually made this rock, but it's just, the more I look at sites like this, the more sometimes it's harder to tell. And if you just look at those stones down there and how they've just dropped off those great squares, it just makes you wonder. We also look at the formation of the stone here, and you can tell that there's been a lot of warpage and pressing from all the plates, a lot of sedimentary layers getting pushed around, which makes sense on a beach. But yeah, this is El Morro Cave right there, or El Morro Cove there at the end before Laguna Beach. And it is what I think is a pyramid right on top of those cliffs. See how there's that hill there? You don't get that kind of hill anywhere else around here. If anything, you get it on the mountains over in Palos Verdes, but you don't. But that seems to be like an outcropping, whereas here at El Morro, there seems to be a singular one that stands up on top of the cliff, as opposed to down in Dana Point, which is more flat. So, and you get more flatness around here. But isn't it a beautiful observation post here? It's just all these little harbors right here in between. It's all Irvine Company property, I think. But yeah, just north of Newport, or south of Newport Beach, and north of Laguna. Look at this. Go left, my friend. Look at that little one. Woo. Pretty fun. Well, I decided I'm just gonna finish the task because I'm out here, so I want to get it done. But yeah, here's the bike today. Looking good. Running well. Had to tighten up the rear hubs like you saw me. Everything's looking good, nice and tidy. The basket's starting to age a little bit, but everything's looking good. Really happy with it. Kicks a little dust, so it might be good to get a few mud guards. But yeah, besides that, it's looking pretty good. Throttle's working well. I like the thumb throttle. You don't have to change your grip as much. Yeah, kick it on. Got the Cycle Analyst. Can you see that? There he is. Yeah. It's a little bit less than half battery right now. And I feel like the bottom third of the battery kind of drains fast, so I'm a little worried. But like I said, I'm out here. I want to just get this day done. So go check out this other site, and then, because I don't think they're going to be showing anything at the nature center. And yeah, but it's been a lovely day, huh? So there's Catalina out there with some toyon, some hollyberry. What Holly Woodland is named for. But yeah, having fun. Let's do some more. So we made it to Laguna Beach. There is, I think that's top of the world over there, top of that hill. And that is a very cool site. And then, yeah, right below us is the main beach. I like going up here on Cliff Drive and then dropping back down into Laguna Canyon. But yeah, there's a top of the world over here, which was a great a Native American site. And then also up here is forest, is a forest fort. That lady just like peeled out right in front of me. Anyways, she's from Newport. Yeah, there's a forest castle, I think, or fort castle, and it's this old concrete castle that's built up there. So there's some cool old sites around here. But yeah, top of the world, and then back there in that canyon is a bunch of old Native American caves. Yeah, so here's the hill. This is the entrance to Laguna Canyon. You can see there's some little caves, structures up in here. One right there in front of us, down below. And there's like a modern day lighthouse there. But this is the entrance to the canyon, and there'll be a few up on the sides as we go. This is such a cool bend in the corner. You have a nice little ravine right here that comes off the back of those hills, and then you have this major cliff face up on the turn of Long Beach, or Laguna Beach Canyon, Laguna Canyon. So yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. Look at this flat space, and then you have these rocks and these oak trees. Perfect place to be collecting acorns and smashing them, and being really close to a fresh water source and the sea where you can fish. It's a great camp. Obviously, it's been protected, as you can see by the no trespassing signs. So now we're gonna head over to the Nix Nature Preserve. Hello, Mr. Crow. And you're going to take this dirt path right here that's going to parallel Laguna Canyon. And yeah, right behind this hill is I want to say Barbara Lake, but I'm not sure if that's right or not. Yeah, it's a beautiful little park run by Orange County. Look at the mistletoe up in the sycamores. You can see those little batches of green. But yeah, this is another, look at that great hill on top of the hill there. Another site that was definitely important to Native Americans. Again, you have the oak trees down there, California black oak. And yeah, again, fresh water and a source of food. So let's go check it out. See, here's a pestle, here's a mortar. Cool. Well, all right, we made it back. And yeah, it's 3:45-ish. Time's not really a big deal, but 73.5 miles. I think I did probably about 30 miles today. So that's one of the longer trips with this bike. And yeah, I kicked off you can turn off the front light, which is awesome. I can't believe I made it home. I got like 0 battery left, but yeah, this might kill the bike. But yeah, I had my lights turned off in the front, and we made it back. So stoked on that. Almost burnt through the power cord here. It was rubbing against the wheel, so gotta check that out. But besides that, great bike, man. It's been running on like this, no battery, and it's got me home. So thank you, bike. You're awesome. That was a very fun, fruitful day. Sounds like there's lots of people that know lots of things. So
more to come.